After Arsenal shocked the entire footballing world, securing a transfer for Eberechi Eze, for many Arsenal fans the excitement is certainly building. The arrival of a Premier League proven maverick. Today my friends, we are going to get a massive breakdown on how Eze could change everything, as well as getting the latest on the future of Jakub Kiwior. We'll also find out what's happening with Fabio Vieira, get the latest team news ahead of Leeds United, and discuss a move for a potential wide forward. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Bass14, welcome back to your boys channel, and I know you guys are doing sensational because Eberechi Eze is about to become an Arsenal player. So of course we're here to break it all down. As per though, smash a like on this video if you do enjoy it and subscribe to the channel if you are new, helping your boys reach 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with the Eberechi Eze breakdown, a deal that was an RKO out of nowhere, as confirmed by Fabrizio Romano last night. Eberechi Eze to Arsenal is a here we go, with even David Ornstein confirming Eberechi Eze agrees personal terms with Arsenal ahead of completing a move from Crystal Palace. A deal in principle already struck for the 27-year-old attacking midfielder to join after Crystal Palace's game in the UEFA Conference League. The player part is now finalised too. But it was a deal that came out of nowhere, with all the doom and gloom growing in the Arsenal fanbase. From Kai Havertz picking up a knee injury to a brand new contract for Leandro Trossard. But according to Fabrizio Romano, in the last hours Arsenal decided to match Tottenham's bid for Eberechi Eze. The player said yes to Arsenal because it was his dream to go there. It was not possible in the transfer window until today, and then Havertz's injury opened the door. But was it actually as simple as that? Because according to the reliable hand of Arsenal board member Tim Lewis and Steve Parish share a long-standing excellent relationship and have worked together on multiple football-related projects. Did Parish stall the Eze deal for the last 48 hours? After covert conversations, frankly some things are better to left for folklore. Andrea Berta built a fantastic relationship with Eze's camp over the past 6 to 8 weeks. I am sure that will come out sooner than later. Josh Kroenke being in the UK helped massively, as Arteta and Andrea Berta delivered an undeniable pitch in person. While some at the club did raise PSR concerns, Josh stood firmly with Arteta. The green light was given, and Tim Lewis, Parish, Berta and Eze's agents completed the greatest hijack in recent times. The heist of the window, a player that was set to go to Spurs but has come into the Emirates Stadium. According to Miguel Delaney, those within Tottenham now believe that Crystal Palace was stalling for the Eberechi Eze move. The move for Eberechi Eze, and waiting for Arsenal to return to create competition and a better price. As confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, of course, Arsenal have paid the same amount of money, but their add-ons are far quicker achievable, while also offering the player a better contract. Here was the Arsenal director Andrea Berta, seen on the sidelines during Arsenal's open training session at the Emirates Stadium. As you can see, very busy making calls and reading messages. In hindsight, after the madness last night, that man was working deeply on the Eberechi Eze hijack. A deal that came out of nowhere that surprised the entire Arsenal fanbase. But was it actually that simple? Because according to Miguel Delaney, the Independent can now reveal that Arsenal actually had struck a principle of agreement with Crystal Palace for Eberechi Eze as early as the morning of Sunday the 10th of August, with even the reliable Matt Law saying, "I have never been shy of giving Daniel Levy a gentle kick over a missed deal, but in this instance I believe that Spurs did all they could," with Arsenal also telling people this week that there was no big money to spend on transfers without a sale, from a reporter that was linking Arsenal to Jamie Vardy. And according to IndyCarla, they even offered Eze better personal terms, but the player still wanted Arsenal. And it all starts to make sense the more you see it. Take for example this video here, Eze walking out of Stamford Bridge after Crystal Palace's opening game of the season. When asked about signing for Tottenham, his face looked unfazed. A video that was hyper-analysed by the Arsenal fanbase, using it as an example to say that Eze does not want to go to Tottenham Hotspur. But with the here we go now confirmed, even former Arsenal legend Sol Campbell liking the actual post itself. According to the hand of Arsenal, Declan Rice constantly gave glowing references about Eberechi Eze to Mikel Arteta. When Mikel spoke to Eze about a move, the manager fell in love with Eze's commitment to win it all at his boyhood club. The medical is tomorrow, then the contract signed, with Eze becoming the first ever non-Arsenal player to receive a Muru at the Arsenal tunnel. There's a certain level of excitement produced by his transfer that I have not seen in the Arsenal fanbase since the signing of Mesut Ozil, whether it was hijacking him from Spurs or the surprise element itself. Arsenal were getting a player that since 2022-23 has 45 Premier League goals and assists, with 29 goals and 16 assists. This is a player that arrives at Arsenal with the potential of completely changing everything. But in terms of the tactical fit, as shown by this graphic here, most of his starts for Crystal Palace have been as an attacking midfielder, making 63 appearances there, with only 29 coming as a left winger. The question then becomes, where does he fit at Arsenal? Whether it's playing in the Arsenal midfield three, for me he will be Arsenal's current left-sided wide forward, the current area of Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. People will point to the fact that Eze is not a natural winger, but I am looking more towards the profile itself. completing a whopping 2.33 successful take-ons per game last season. When compared to Gabriel Martinelli, who was only completing 1.3, Arsenal are signing a massive upgrade in terms of ball carrying, a wide forward that has a sense of unpredictability, a dribbling style that is so hard to stop. Eze is also a bit of a sharpshooter, where in 2024 he scored the most goals outside the box in the entire league alongside Phil Foden. Over the past 2 seasons, his goals plus assists per 90 is far higher than Gabriel Martinelli, averaging 3.5 shots per game last season. For a Crystal Palace side that doesn't have anywhere near the amount of ball as Arsenal, they don't make our same amount of chances. The trend of Arsenal's transfer market has been very clear. The signings of Noni Madueke, Victor Gyökeres and now Eberechi Eze, Arsenal are signing shooters, with Eze, Madueke and Gyökeres firing a total of 356 shots last season. All 3 had a higher shots per 90 than any player at Arsenal. You then look at this graphic here of the most efficient attackers in all the Premier League. Number 1 is Bukayo Saka when it comes to shots plus key passes. But look at number 3 and look at number 5. Noni Madueke and Eberechi Eze. Shooting is one thing, but you also need to be efficient. When it comes to Eberechi Eze, he brings to Arsenal exactly what we lack. A forward that once clocked in a top speed of 34.2 kilometers an hour, with natural physical quality to hold off opponents. He's a player that thrives in transition. Take for example this goal against Tottenham Hotspur, picking up the ball outside his box, but carrying the ball forwards with power, with a lovely pass in behind to Ismail Assar, as he completes his run by finishing the ball first time into the back of the net. Eze is not just a player that can see a pass, but he also has the confidence to execute it. A player that provides a certain level of decisiveness that Arsenal lack for a very long time. This is a natural maverick playmaker. So when it comes to him playing on the left hand side, the reason why I believe he can thrive is because of the arrival of Victor Gyökeres, a striker that is comfortable also drifting towards the left. It allows Eze to also come centrally, maximising his touches in his most dangerous area. For me to get the best out of Eberechi Eze, he needs to be used as a floating left winger, given the freedom to drift inside and influence play, because most importantly Arsenal are getting a player that has a natural level of gravity, as well as an array of weapons that he can use to break you down. Ball carrying in tight spaces, he can do that. Playing lovely intricate passes from behind, he can also do that. Give him space outside the box, then watch him shoot and smash it into the back of the net, because he can do that as well. Eze is a player that will attract players towards him, giving more space to a certain Bukayo Saka, a player that he shares a close relationship with, having played together for England. With Eze's ability 1v1, teams will now have to think twice. Do you overload the Arsenal right hand side and give Eze space, or do you close the left side down and give Bukayo Saka space to thrive? With the prospect of this being the future Arsenal front three, the beauty of every single Arsenal signing this window is they all help us break down low blocks. Most importantly Eze, a player that we know has the ability in tight spaces, but also profiles as a natural maverick. For an Arsenal team that at times can become too robotic, Eze is a very intuitive thinker on the pitch, a player that has the ability to find a pass that no one else can see. For Arsenal fans, it's a bit of a throwback. From the profiles of Jack Wilshere, Cesc Fabregas, Samen Nasri, Thomas Rosicky, the list goes on. Eze is quite literally an Arsene Wenger-esque signing. You then think about Mikel Arteta's kryptonite, the mid and low blocks of the last 2 seasons. Eberechi Eze, Noni Madueke and Victor Gyökeres will all help Arsenal finally eliminate that problem. And if we're talking about Arsenal's big name striker, he is a player that will now be over the moon because Eze suits him very nicely. Having played at Crystal Palace alongside Jean-Philippe Mateta, not only is Eze already customised to thriving on the counter-attack, he's also a player that is not scared to find balls in behind. You then think about Gyökeres' last few games. A lot of runs have been made in behind, but most often Arsenal players have failed to find it. The signing of Eberechi Eze completely changes that. But this is also signing where tactics go outside the window. Ultimately, Arsenal are getting a player that just feels right. From the individual moments of brilliance, able to cut inside and smash the ball into the back of the net, to finally offering Arsenal a bit of individualism. We've talked about the past of Arsenal lacking a top number 10, for as great as Martin Odegaard is as number 8, when it comes to being our Kevin De Bruyne, but Eberechi Eze has the profile to become that. Saying back in May 2025, why do I do things that maybe other players wouldn't think to do? The reason is for the people that are watching. How can you get people off their feet? That is what football's all about. The arrival of a natural entertainer. This is a transfer that has re-energized the entire Arsenal fan base. Despite making 6 signings this summer, the feeling always was we needed one more player to finally fix our left-hand side. In the case of Eberechi Eze, Mikel Arteta finally got his final piece of the jigsaw, because most importantly, Arsenal were getting a player that has a massive point to prove. Released at Arsenal at 13 years of age, left in tears after leaving his boyhood club. Here was an Eze tweet back in April 2015, saying, "I swear I'ma make it, and when I do, they're gonna show this tweet." 10 years later, that's exactly what we are doing, as a boyhood Arsenal fan is returning home, with even this tweet from August 2017, of Eze saying £92 million. Okay, referring to Arsenal's deadline day move for Thomas Lemar, this is clearly an Arsenal fan through and through. And for Arsenal, it's not their first time signing a 27-year-old from Crystal Palace. Think to one of our greatest ever goal scorers in Ian Wright, signing for Arsenal at a later age and going on to become one of our highest ever goal scorers. Next up is Eze's Arsenal medical, and after he was not a part of Crystal Palace's opening game in the Europa Conference League, as manager Oliver Glasner confirmed, "I wish Eberechi Eze all the best. He won't play for us anymore," with even the hand of Arsenal confirming Eberechi Eze will be an Arsenal player tomorrow. Good night. Moving on to the latest Arsenal news and starting off with the potential departures. According to reports, Arsenal goalkeeper Karl Hein is set for a permanent move to Werder Bremen. Final details still to be sorted out, but a total deal expected to be €3 million. A goalkeeper now 23 years of age, after a loan spell in 2024-25 to Real Valladolid, starting 31 games in total. You have to wonder, could Arsenal have got a slightly better deal, especially with the current market of goalkeepers. We've seen in the past where Arsenal have sold certain goalkeepers like Emi Martinez for a price tag that you could have got a lot more for. At Arsenal, when you've got David Raya and Kepa Arrizabalaga, Karl Hein was always going to find it hard to be a starter. But having seen in previous years players that Arsenal have let go for cut prices, the prime example being Mika Birev. I get that sometimes the demand isn't going to be there, but could Arsenal have got slightly more money? But talking of big money deals, let's talk the future of Jakub Kiwior. As according to Sky Sports, Porto are in negotiations with Arsenal to secure a loan for Jakub Kiwior with the obligation to buy over €25 million. A player that I do believe Arsenal can get a lot more money for. Kiwior is not a player that Arsenal are actively looking for a sale, but it's more from the side of the player because he wants more first team minutes. But if money is what Arsenal are looking for, maybe a move in the Premier League makes more sense. As according to Miguel Delaney, Jakub Kiwior could make a move to Crystal Palace from Arsenal in a separate deal for Eberechi Eze, with even Delaney confirming Crystal Palace chairman Steve Parish and Arsenal vice chairman Tim Lewis have a close relationship. Even if they often bicker, they WhatsApp a lot about regulations and other in-game issues, which helped the negotiations for Eze, especially given the early agreements. Arsenal do have a fantastic relationship with Crystal Palace, from a deal last year for Eddie Nketiah to a deal this year for Eberechi Eze. In the case of Kiwior, if Arsenal can get him moved to Crystal Palace, not only can we automatically demand a high level of money because teams in the league have more to spend, but he's also a player that could suit their style very nicely. A player that is not only great in deep blocks, but also has a fantastic long ball in him as well. You pair that with Jean-Philippe Mateta's runs in behind, and Crystal Palace would get a fantastic player. But talking of Arsenal futures, you also have Fabio Vieira, a player that was a part of Arsenal's open training session that took place at the Emirates Stadium, despite previous reports from the UK confirming that West Ham were in talks over a deal to sign the Arsenal midfielder. The recent club to enter the frame more prominently is Stuttgart from the Bundesliga. According to reports, they are only willing to pay around £17 million, including add-ons for Fabio Vieira. We're talking the player that was a starter for Porto last season, a player that still has 2 years left on his Arsenal contract, and more importantly still only 25 years of age. Arsenal won't sign this guy for £35 million, so there's a reason why they have so far failed to agree a deal, because they know that £17 million is not enough. But in terms of the sales, pressure is certainly growing, with Arsenal having already spent the fourth most in the Premier League, a whopping €224 million. That is before spending £68 million on Eberechi Eze. In terms of income, we've only produced €8 million, the 15th highest in the Premier League. When you compare that to Chelsea and Liverpool, Andrea Berta has done a fantastic job in getting players in, but now the responsibility falls to getting players out as well. But for Mikel Arteta, his focus is on Saturday, as Arsenal host their first game of the brand new year at the Emirates Stadium against newly promoted Leeds United, in a game that we won't have Kai Havertz, as confirmed by David Ornstein, out with a knee injury, despite team's ticks confirming the early prognosis is that Havertz has not suffered an ACL injury. According to the physio scouts, this could be more of an MCL injury, with this being the moment against Man United after a strong challenge from Agate. The fact that Arsenal have gone onto the market and signed another forward, to me it shows that Havertz's injury isn't minor and he will be up for a certain period of time. In his place though, of course, we do have a certain Victor Gyökeres, whereas Mikel Arteta tells ESPN Brazil Gyökeres is Arsenal's best penalty taker. His first Premier League start at the Emirates Stadium is definitely going to be exciting, but with Ben White and Christian Norgard also not seen in Arsenal's open training session at the Emirates Stadium, you wonder if we see a start for Yuri and Timber, maybe even Miles Lewis-Skelly, or more intriguingly Noni Madueke, coming off the bench at Old Trafford with a 20-minute cameo. He could have even scored a goal, but with the imminent arrival of Eberechi Eze, you do wonder what is Mikel Arteta's plan for Noni Madueke. Is he going to be Bukayo Saka's backup, or are we going to see him start on the left-hand side, with Eze playing as a left number 10? This could be a game for experiments. But with massive games against Liverpool and Newcastle also coming up, the priority for Mikel Arteta will be to secure the 3 points, with this being a potential Arsenal lineup. Now let's talk about the future of Gabriel Martinelli. As Arsenal secured their 7th signing of the window, spending nearly £70 million on Eberechi Eze, the future of Martinelli has come into question, as according to Indicala, Saudi Arabian clubs are circling around Gabriel Martinelli, with one club ready to pay £80 million for his services. The option is there for Arsenal if they decide to cash in, despite a previous report from Ben Jacobs, saying that Arsenal have told suitors, including Al Nassr, that Gabriel Martinelli is not for sale. When you've got Trossard staying, you've got Madueke and Eze, all able to operate on the left-hand side, the future of Martinelli becomes intriguing, because if Arsenal receive a massive offer, having only secured €8 million so far this window, there is talk that Arsenal could still be on the market. According to reports in France, Arsenal and Bayern Munich have Malik Fofana in their shortlist for the final days of the window, a potential superstar left forward developing at Lyon, still only 20 years of age. By signing Eze and Madueke, Arsenal have a mix of experience and potential. Fofana would be more of a wonder kid, while on the right hand side Arsenal have Ethan Nwaneri and Max Dowman. If the left hand side does see a massive departure, I would not be surprised if Arsenal were to make another late move. But in the case of Rodrigo, a player that was benched for the 7th time in a row as Real Madrid opened the La Liga campaign, we did have a previous report claiming that Rodrigo's agent is travelling to London. The agent will land this evening with a meeting with Arsenal and Liverpool to see what options can be offered to his client. It's the agent that has requested these meetings, not the clubs. Personally, I don't buy it and I don't see it. By signing Eze, Arsenal have already spent a lot of money. Only if we see a big departure like Gabriel Martinelli is when I start to take these rumours seriously. But that, my friends, is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on his social medias, the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal news today, as well as the Eberechi Eze breakdown. Hopefully I pronounced that right, my friends. Correct me in the comments if I haven't. My friends, I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm smiling, and I'm looking forward to a game on Saturday where Arsenal hopefully can secure their second 3 points of the season. But for now, Eberechi Eze, welcome to Arsenal. And yeah, let's get the 3 points. My friends, I'll see you next time. Take care and in a bit.